Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Dick, and I'm here on episode 10. That's right, episode 10 of Podcastrophe. And today I have a special guest from the land of Subaru. His name is Tyler. How are you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing good. I've had a pretty good week. Birthday was on Sunday. I'm getting old.
Yes, you and my dad both.
Yeah.
Share a birthday.
We share a magical
and you're
day.
both old. Both getting old.
That's right.
He turned 50.
I'm 26, so I'm not quite that old, but I feel like I'm about 80, so.
You got a kid, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so that'll do it.
Living that dad life.
How old is she?
She will be a year old next month.
Oh, shit.
And it's like days. The time goes by like it's days.
How many months do you think she's going to be before you stop counting by months?
Oh, my wife and I aren't one of those people.
Okay, cool.
She's
Cool.
she's 361 months. No, my wife is pretty relaxed. I mean, she's a pretty simple person.
Yeah.
And, we're the people that walk around and make fun of other people because they do shit like that. We just can't stand it.
You seem like you would be the type.
Well, you see people with their kids on leashes and, it's like,
God, I hate
it's
that
instant shit. Thomas the Train face triggered because it's just unnecessary. My daughter's not even a year old yet and she's not, I don't have to worry about her just disappearing. I don't need a leash.
Yeah.
So, God.
You say like 361 months old. That reminds me, I can't, was it you that, I was talking about postpartum abortion.
I don't remember if that was me or not.
I said it to somebody because I said, or Jacob, the other temp that hired in with you.
The lesser
temp. Well, he was talking some shit and he was saying some stupid shit. And
like always.
Oh yeah, like always. So of course I just shot back and I'm like, dude, man, you should have been a postpartum abortion.
Well, that phrase, instantly people hear the word abortion and it instantly starts this big debate of whether it's right or wrong. Just hearing the word and I'm not one. What I do with my life, that's my business.
Yeah.
How you manage your life, that's your business. It has nothing to do with me. But, I've said it to Brandon a bunch. You look at just people and society in general. We as a species were once, I hate to say proud and noble because pride is not necessarily a great thing to have at all times. But we have fallen so much as a species.
Oh, yeah.
There's been so many look at just one major scientific advancement, penicillin.
Yes.
Changed the course of history. And now we have things like my sister's a type 1 diabetic. If you don't have health insurance and you don't have good health insurance, you can't afford to continue to live because you have a disease.
Yeah.
So, we have people with kids on leashes, but we can't, my sister can't get insulin relatively.
Uh-huh.
So we have fallen so far as a species, and I don't know if we'll ever dig our way back out.
I agree. I mean, you look at the numbers. You look at the numbers before insurance for healthcare and all that, and you sit there and like, why did this just cost me thousands upon thousands of dollars? And
Absolutely.
All I did was get a saline drip at an emergency room visit.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because
2,000. Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but
that's all right.
I've had a few e-room visits in my day,
which are always expensive, no matter what,
and they were all for the most pointless shit too. Like about 6 or 7 years ago, I had a case of strep throat. I went to the emergency room upon the suggestion of my ex-fiance's mother, and she's like, "Oh, you need to go to the emergency room. It's bad." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go."
Right.
So of course I go there. I spend 3 hours in a bed on a saline drip,
Yep.
and they tell me, "Oh, you don't have strep." So they're like, you have tonsillitis. which is basically a sore throat.
Right.
And so they're like, just take Tylenol, anti-inflammatories, you'll be good to go in no time.
And you say that, and I have a very odd opinion of the just medical industry and pharmaceuticals and the doctors, because I have had a lot of bad experiences with doctors. My sister has had a multitude of health problems her entire life. I have been relatively healthy, but watching her grow up and myself, the times that we've spent in the doctor, in the hospitals, I don't want to say never. I have very rarely ever received good care. Mm-hmm. But your instance right there, that is actually a positive thing, because now doctors are so quick to just write you a prescription get you out the door so they can grab onto the next patient.
2 weeks, I think it was a week or two ago, I went to urgent care, and I literally opened my mouth and said, and they're like, yep, you got strep. Get out of here.
Right.
Prescription. But no, so back to my story. There's more. I ended up going to the emergency room twice this week because a couple days later, nothing's getting better. It's actually getting worse. I'm feeling miserable. So she's like, you need to go back to the emergency room.
Right.
I'm like, really? Again? Like, I had already gotten the bill from the first visit, and it was $1,500 to $1,000. And I was working at Monocle's Pizza at the time. I wasn't going to be able to fucking afford that.
Right.
So my dad, he threw in his insurance card, and because I was young enough that I could do that.
Right.
And then he paid out of pocket for however much. And then I go back to the emergency room. This time I'm there, same time, another saline drip.
It's always 3 to 5 hours, no matter what.
They tell me, oh yeah, you have strep throat, and you also have mono. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
3 days ago, I didn't have anything but tonsillitis, and now I have strep throat and mono? Fuck you guys.
Well, they give you the saline drip kind of as a precautionary measure and to just kind of justify your visit. You can go in for any number of things, and they're going to hit you with an IV of saline, maybe some anti-nausea medicine. They're going to give you something to justify the time that you've, the 3 to 5 hours that you've sat in the lobby.
Yeah.
Let alone the time that you've sat in the bed by yourself. But you know how much it costs to manufacture one bag of saline?
How much?
17 cents. The average price
because it's salt water.
The average price of saline in the U.S. is over $350 for one bag. The issue, the ultimate issue with the healthcare system right now is not that it's free and not that it's expensive. Privatized healthcare, which is what we have, all the hospitals are privately owned, are a business. They do not care who walks in the door healthy or sick and walks out healthy or sick. They could care less. Yeah. They're there to collect a paycheck, and
they're there to sell drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got the hospital, kind of group, and then you've got the pharmaceutical company. It's a symbiotic relationship. They're feeding off of us, and we're the food.
They're there to, 1, sell you drugs. 2, take some nice little portraits of your bones and your brain. Yeah.
But, the healthcare topic, especially right now with Obamacare and, everybody's anti-Trump for whatever reason. I'm not going to debate politics with anybody because ultimately we're all slaves.
Yes.
But if you really want to change the healthcare system and you really want our quality of life in the entire world to get better, you don't make healthcare free. You make the hospitals accountable for their obnoxious healthcare costs.
Yeah.
Because it's unnecessary. There is no reason a 17-cent bag of saline should cost over $300. There's no reason.
Or, EpiPens.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember the price of that going up to like $600 a pen?
I myself am deathly allergic to bees.
Yeah.
If I am supposed to carry an EpiPen with me everywhere. I saw that and I just, at first I was flabbergasted that something like that would happen. And then it's like, wait a minute. This just fits in with everything else. The status quo of our healthcare system. We don't care if people live or die. We don't. We just care if they pay their bill.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, you died? Well, they died. Here's their bill.
But I have a good story to go along with yours.
Let's hear it.
My wife, when she was just my girlfriend, around Christmas time was really, really sick. Just couldn't get over it. So her parents took her to the emergency room. Day one. This was like a Tuesday. Friday, this is like our fourth emergency room visit in succession. Yeah. And they continued to give her a drug that on the fourth day just had an epiphany and realized that she was allergic to. So they were potentially killing my girlfriend for 4 days. And they just couldn't figure out why she was so sick. Long story short, she ended up needing her gallbladder taken out. But there's always a funny joke that I think about whenever I talk about healthcare. What do you call the doctor who finishes last? Or the person who finishes last in medical school? Doctor. Whether you finish first or last, you're a doctor. So.
Wow.
It's amazing to me, region by region, how healthcare changes, just as far as quality. You know, if I go to a cardio specialist here in Lafayette versus my cardio specialist in Indianapolis, my quality of care is going to be tenfold different every time. That's been my experience.
Really?
Now, your mileage may vary, but doctors are doctors. They're doing a job just like the rest of us. You know, they make mistakes, but a doctor should not be making mistakes for 4 days.
No, they should not.
That's just been my experience with the healthcare system. Not a big fan.
Man, that got real heavy right from the get-go. I remember, so going back to episode 1 of Podcastrophe, I had Brandon on here. Mm-hmm. Of course, he's the one to to an extent, introduced me into my modern podcasting, my podcasting today. So, of course, I had him on for episode 1. It was only natural. So we were talking about podcasting, and then somehow we ended up drifting to the topic of suicide and stuff. And it's like, wow, this was supposed to be like a fun, zany, like off the wall podcast, and here we are talking about heavy subjects. And here we are again, 10 episodes later, just right off the bat talking about a super heavy subject. Well, and it's just, that's why I love doing this, I love my podcast because it can go anywhere, because it's just free form conversation.
Well, and you know, my experience with podcasts up until this point has been one. I listened to a fictional podcast that's based out of Chicago. You know, it airs every week. It's just kind of a fun story ongoing. And I've never really gotten into, you know, other than the occasional sports podcast. Yeah. Just podcasts in general. And then, you know, I met you and Brandon, and it's just like mind explosion, you know, this whole new realm of possibilities, because there's a podcast for everything.
There really is.
But I've told you from the day that you introduced me to your podcast, that's something that you don't see. Just a free-flowing, anything talk about podcasts. And, you know, I've enjoyed listening to yours. I've enjoyed talking to Brandon about them. So,
hell yeah.
I look forward to continuing being a fan of Podcastrophe.
Oh, I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Like I take my biggest inspiration. There's 2 different shows I take inspiration from, in terms of my podcast, and it starts with the first podcast I ever heard, which was the Rooster Teeth podcast. They used to be called the Drunk Tank back in the day, and so you're familiar with Rooster Teeth, correct? Yep. Red versus Blue,
right?
All that shit. So that's all they do. They just sit around and talk about their company and talk about current events and movies and what they're doing, like the projects that they're working on and shit, and their travels. And then the other show is the Kind of Funny show, it's Kind of Funny Game Over Greggy show, which is we were talking about that a little bit at lunch today. We were how Colin Moriarty, all that shit happened. Well, they're a podcast they're a podcast and a show where they just sit around a table and each person brings a different topic, and then they post per day each topic, and then at the end of the week they just post the entire show all in one go, and then so for you to watch or listen to.
Right.
But I love those because you never know what you're gonna get with it.
Well, it's real. It's not scripted.
It's not scripted. It's just conversation. It's just shooting the shit, which is where, like, when I get like 2, sometimes 3 or 4 guests on my show, that's where it really shines. And I've said that several times on my show. That is where it really shines, because you get multiple people with multiple perspectives, and you get to know people, and I love that. I want my audience to be able to get to know the people in my life, because I have several different groups of friends that aren't associated with each other. Several.
Right.
And it's always a magical thing when, like, one person from one group meets another person from another group that have nothing to do with each other. And so, like, I love when that happens, because then I get to see, oh, are these people going to click? And then I get to see, like, more meshing happen.
Well, especially if it does. I mean, when 2 people click, that, you know, I've had that a lot happen in my personal life. And when 2 people that you would never think that they have anything in common, when that clicks, it is 100% real.
Oh yeah.
And you know, there's a lot to say about being proud of. I mean, because so much today, people shut themselves off in their own little worlds. You know, the state of the U.S. right now. My opinion is the only one that matters, and your opinion is wrong.
My opinion is fact. No, it's not.
It's an opinion. We are all entitled to our opinion. There's no doubt. Some people's opinions are asinine and totally unnecessary, like a lot of the things that we get into. But yeah, I mean, I agree, man. Getting groups of people together is a great thing.
Oh yeah. I started off and doing that. So my whole life, my parents have been divorced.
Right.
Whole life.
Pretty common anymore.
Yeah, I think they divorced it like when I was like 1. So also, I'm a bastard in Game of Thrones.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a northern state. We're above the Mason-Dixon line, so I'm a stone. I'm a Snow. I'm Dick Snow.
Or a Targaryen.
Oh, I'm a Snow.
I'm not caught up on Game of Thrones.
I was born out of wedlock.
I'm not caught up on Game of Thrones, but I know that much.
Oh, I'm sorry you know that.
It's all right.
It's hard to avoid these days with Facebook and whatnot.
Well, yeah, social media in itself is a curse as much as it's great.
Oh, yeah. But, so, divorced my parents all my life. Because of that, my mom lived here in Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Delphi. So,
Big
Delphi.
town of Delphi.
Oh, yeah, good old Del Hole. I heard that term from somebody in your class, Marcus Blacker.
Pretty Marcus. I could see Marcus saying that too.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're from Del Hole?" I'm like, "Fuck you." So now I use it all the time. I love it.
Well, yeah, you gotta roll with it.
But so I grew up in Delphi. All my friends were from Delphi. I would come here on the weekends. I'd come here to Lafayette on the weekends, be with my mom. And at some point, I actually started making friends here. I think my first couple friends were just in the neighborhood. We lived in Benjamin Crossing.
Okay.
And do you know Megan Whaley?
I do.
Yeah, she was like one of my first Lafayette friends. Huh?
I dated her back in the day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I did too. Not Eskimo Brothers there though.
No, we're not.
I never penetrated that. I never did anything with that. Fun fact, she was my first second base.
Me too.
Nice. I was a freshman.
I think she was most of Lafayette's first second base too. But...
yeah, I don't know. Who knows how many virginities she stole.
Succubus.
just by her freshman year. I was a freshman when that happened.
Right.
But anyway, move forward. She dated a man by the name of Kyle Brown.
Indeed, she did.
And through him, I met Carl. Through Carl and Kyle, I met our friend Mike, Mr. Mike Norris of the Game Addicts podcast.
Correct.
So I've known Mike. Little known fact, I've known Mike for well over 10 years. Not many people, a couple people on the Sealer deck know that, but anyway, so slowly I started getting Kyle. He took me to a show at the Skylight Cafe, where I saw Narrow House. It was my very first rock show.
Mm-hmm.
Rock show, yeah. And so through them, I started partying with the Narrow House guys and started meeting all their friends and meeting more people. But I always stuck to Kyle and Carl for the longest time. They were like my best friends here in Lafayette.
They're good dudes.
Oh, hell yeah. Best dudes ever. And then eventually, I think my junior year of high school, I was hanging out with my friends, my two best friends, Nikki and Danny. And we came here to Lafayette, and I was like, hey, Kyle, Carl, come to the mall, hang out with us. So they came. And they met my Delphi friends. And my Delphi friends met my Lafayette friends. And years later, Nikki and Carl are married and have a kid together.
Yep.
It's like, wow.
Well, it's funny how small of a world it is, because Kyle and I went to school together from kindergarten on. He's a little bit older than me. But
Yeah.
Kyle used to bully me on the school bus when I was a little kid, and years later, and we're still great friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle kind of introduced me to that whole group. I didn't realize it at first, but I knew Mike from partying at Kyle's house.
Yeah.
He was always on the verge of passing out whenever I arrived, but or already passed out.
The good old glory days. All those parties out at Kyle's, man.
They were always wild, man.
And Kyle's mom.
Oh yeah.
Mama.
But,
she made the best breakfasts ever.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, it's just, after you tie on a really good drunk, breakfast is a magical thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And when you've got somebody who perfects the art of breakfast, which, most people would say is not a very difficult thing to do, you've either got it or you don't. You can mess up scrambled eggs.
Oh, definitely. I have definitely fucked up scrambled eggs.
Bacon can be bad. It can be bad.
How so? Too crispy?
Well, if you pick up a piece of bacon and it folds over and then it's so greasy like you can't hold on to it, me personally, that's bad bacon.
Okay. I like that just before it gets crispy.
I like it just as it starts to get crispy.
Yeah.
So like the center of the bacon is still nice and pliable,
Nice
but
and
the
meaty.
edges are super crunch. That's good bacon.
I didn't perfect my bacon skills until last fall.
It takes time.
Yeah. And I just watched my roommate do it, and I was like, wow.
Have you tried oven bacon?
I have. I've done microwave bacon, oven bacon. Yeah, I've tried all kinds of bacon. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so scrambled eggs. I
Hell of a topic here. We went from friendship to scrambled eggs. Where will we go next?
Where will we go next? So, my grandmother, she's the one that taught me how to make scrambled eggs years and years and years ago. As a child, I learned scrambled eggs rather early, and she always, well, at first she would put them in the microwave, and then eventually she was like,
I trust you with the stove.
yeah.
Don't burn us alive.
So she would always put milk in it.
Right.
And I never realized just how much milk to put in it. So for years, I would always put too much milk in it. I'd be like, why can't I make these like my grandma? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Well, there's still people out there that put water in their eggs instead of milk.
I've seen them do that, and I'm like, who are you, and why?
There is a certain sect of scrambled egg connoisseurs.
What does that do?
They believe that it makes the eggs fluffier.
The milk does, yeah.
No, the water. People believe that the water, as the egg cooks and the surplus of water in the egg concoction evaporates, that it makes the eggs fluffier because it's basically boiling the egg from the inside out.
I really like that you know the science behind this.
I've looked into it because the art of scrambled eggs
The art of scrambled eggs
is a skill that everyone should have. And
how do you like your eggs in general?
personally,
Yeah.
I'm an over easy guy.
Okay.
I also really enjoy a good poached egg. I'm not going to turn down some Eggs Benedict, but you're hungry, you're hungover, scrambled eggs is no better way to go.
Oh yeah. I prefer scrambled. However, I will eat an egg on a burger or a sandwich.
Which is something, people are afraid to do that, and I don't understand.
On a burger?
Yeah.
It's the best.
People are afraid of egg yolk.
It's
Like-
the Prince Royal. It's the Royal Burger.
People need to broaden their horizons. Eat egg on a burger. It's delicious. Eggs are your friend. They're not the enemy.
Burgers, to me, they're the sustenance of life.
Well, this is something that we disagree on, just as far as how we take our burgers. I like mine thin. You like yours Flintstones thick. And just, I want to taste everything and not just wear my jaw out chewing 4 inches of hamburger. So
I love a nice big juicy burger, and I won't put anything on my burgers. I'll season it, I'll marinate it, whatever. I won't have condiments.
a good burger doesn't need it.
Exactly.
Unless you're, I have a couple friends out there that like drink ketchup out of the bottle. I mean, they're weird condiment people. Don't get me wrong, I love condiments.
I love ketchup.
A good steak, a good burger, any food, if it's properly seasoned, does not require condiments to make it taste good.
Precisely. I take great pride in my my burger seasoning skills, my steak seasoning skills.
You should. Because, people that go... I'll use Texas Roadhouse for a good example.
I hate Texas Roadhouse.
Well,
I
eat their chicken. They do have dynamite chicken fingers.
You're totally right.
The old chicken critters.
You are totally right.
But they do have a good meat selection. I will give them that. If you pick a steak out of the case,
okay,
you're getting a good cut of meat. But when they throw their steaks on the grill, they just put clarified butter on them. They don't do anything special. No marinades, no seasonings.
Yeah, you need that. You need that A1.
A lot of times you do because it's super overcooked, and if a steak is overcooked, that necessitates steak sauce. I'm a Worcestershire guy myself, but a good steak doesn't need anything. But
how do you like your steak?
Rare.
I like medium to medium well.
Here's a little fun fact for you, because
I'll eat it rare if I make it.
I love food.
Yes.
Beef. This only applies to beef. The inside of a cut of beef is sterile. Okay. So you cannot get sick from eating a rare steak as long as the outside of the meat is correctly seared to temperature. Okay. You do not need the inside. The inside of that meat could be 30 degrees below freezing. As long as the outside is cooked to temperature, you will never ever get sick. Scientifically
I am not
impossible.
worried about getting sick.
There are a lot of people though.
Yeah.
You sit
I can see that.
You sit at a restaurant and just people watch, and it's like, well, I don't want to get sick.
Yeah. Well, okay. You're
not gonna get
foods,
sick.
Yeah.
Pork, chicken,
pork
they have
chicken.
to be cooked to temperature.
Yes. But steak, that's not one thing I ever worry about. The rareness of my steak, I worry about that out of texture.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of the food that I eat, it's based on how I like the texture. Like a lot of foods that I don't like, it has nothing to do with the taste or the smell. It's the texture.
That just, that goes to show how complex each individual person's palate is. I like over easy eggs. My wife doesn't like over easy eggs, not because of the taste of the yolk, but she doesn't like the texture of the yolk.
Yeah,
So
I have to have, if I'm going to eat it like that, I have to have it with something, like a sandwich.
So, yeah, totally agree with you. Texture is an important thing. If you have cooked ground beef that is the consistency of potato soup, are you going to enjoy it? I wouldn't.
Hell no.
So,
no.
Texture is important.
Very.
Food is life.
Food is life. That we have a podcast on this network devoted to food and movies, and it is aptly titled Foodies.
I've seen that, and I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's a great show. They talk about food, and then they also talk about movies. What more could you want? Like they make them. It's been a while since I listened to it, but they make a meal. They'll talk about it. They'll talk about some movies that they're watching. It's just all around fun. It's good old Nate Phillips and Veronica and Andrew Poor of the Poor Report. Good people.
I just have to say, while we're talking about the network, I am impressed with the Journey into Comics network.
Yeah?
I am. When Brandon Stone first kind of pitched it to me, I was like, yeah, I'll listen to your podcast. I'll give it a chance. And then it just exploded after that. There is almost something for everybody.
Yeah.
So I've been impressed so far. I've enjoyed listening to everything.
And now there's a podcast for beer, beer drinkers.
Yeah. How do you go wrong with that?
It's great. I've had a lot of fun helping Nick out with Brews with Dudes because I get to drink.
Well, and Nick is the beer guy.
He is the beer guy, and he had a perfect vision for it, like right out the gate. Like that's the cool thing I like about Nick. He's a visionary for one, and he's an entrepreneur.
Well, and he's passionate.
He's passionate. Yes.
Mean, there's a lot to say. Of all the entrepreneurs in history, the ones that we remember their names are because of their passion to whatever they're pursuing.
Yeah.
Nick is a passionate guy. When he's got something that he wants to pursue or get involved in, it's there right now. I'm involved.
Yeah.
And he puts forth the effort.
Mm-hmm.
And too many people that I know right now and too many people in history just don't put forth the effort. So
if it wasn't for Nick, these last 4 years, this Lafayette music scene would not be what it is.
Unfortunately, I have not been able to attend any events sanctioned and or a part of the Doom Room, just because of my crazy work schedule. But I look forward to, now that I live a normal person's life, that I can get involved in some of that.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of fun. We can't wait to have you there.
Roger.
So, like, I brought you here. Do you have anything you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, I want to talk about...
Let's get into this shit.
I want to talk about the Marvel / Disney cinematic universe versus what DC is doing right now. We're not going to talk about Fox because they're kind of a bastard child of misery because of all of their...
you get some awesome shit, and you have some really, really terrible shit.
Well, and the sad thing is now is there's so much leaning towards the terrible shit that it's just, it's kind of the he who shall not be named type of thing. We're just not going to talk about Fox. Unless...
I want to talk about at least one thing.
That's fine. We can talk about Fox.
How do you think about this latest Fantastic Four?
The Fantastic Four, man. Okay, I got to go on a little...
They cannot fucking get Fantastic Four right.
I got to go on a little bit of a soapbox here because when the first Fantastic Four debuted, or excuse me, when it was first pitched, I had seen in my youth a little bit of rumors on the old interwebs. And I was like, at the time we had things like the first Thor movie, the origin Thor movie, the origin Iron Man movie. We'll get into the origin stories and how I feel about those in a moment. But I thought, this will kind of be cool because me as a comic and just kind of overall nerd fan, the Fantastic Four has never really been kind of my jam.
Neither. Never cared.
The Thing's kind of cool. Johnny Blaze is kind of cool. Or not Johnny Blaze, excuse me. Johnny Storm. I got all this Marvel stuff in my head, and it's all kind of blended together. But I just, Mr. Fantastic, cool, you're stretchy. Mm-hmm. Like, you can bend yourself into a hammer. I've never seen Thing swing Mr. Fantastic as a hammer. That would be something cool. And
teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, man, that first Fantastic Four movie. I loved their iteration of Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I always forget his name as an actor, but, he's one of my favorites, especially as a villain. He plays a fantastic villain. And then that movie just kept getting worse and worse. Jessica Alba, super hot, made the movie almost tolerable.
Visually.
And then the second one came out, and I was still kind of reeling from the misery of the first one, and I was like, okay, it's got the Silver Surfer, it's gonna have Galactus. They know based on their target audiences, how they received the first movie, surely it can be no worse. And it was almost worse
Really?
on every level to me.
To you?
To me personally, this is all purely my opinion. And then the latest one.
Let's hear this.
I have not seen it.
Oh.
And I will tell you why I have not seen it. When that was first teased, I'm like, okay, here is the time that they're gonna grab themselves up by the bootstraps and pull themselves from the ashes of this franchise. And I saw the first trailer. And I just paused, and I was just blank. I had nothing to say, positive or negative. I was just completely flabbergasted that they went all the way back to the origin story, that everybody's a teenager, characters aren't, I'm trying to gather.
I'm going to say this. I never saw a trailer for that movie.
Well, you'd be glad you didn't, because you probably... So you've watched it, I take it.
I have watched it.
Okay. You probably would not have watched it had you seen the trailer.
I watched it just as I need to see how terrible... Everybody tells me how terrible this movie is. I need to watch it.
I'm going to watch it.
Do it. No, seriously.
Just not to... Just to give it the credit that it's due.
I want you to watch it, and I want you to go in with this perspective in mind. All right? I want you to go in there, 1, with an open mind. 2, I want you to, watch this movie not watching it as a Fantastic Four movie.
Okay.
Treat it just like it's just some random ass
movie. Just a sci-fi movie.
Just some sci-fi movie. He's not the Thing. He's not Mr. Incredible or... Mr. Fantastic.
We're both doing it now.
Wow. He's not Doctor Doom. These characters are just people, and they have powers. They get powers, and it's a movie. And I want you to watch this movie and then tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
Because if you go in there thinking it's with the perspective, oh, I'm watching a Fantastic Four movie, you will be fucking disappointed.
All right.
Because it is fucking terrible as a Fantastic Four movie. Overall, as a movie, though, I can't say it was bad.
So are you giving it a 6 out of 10? Just an overall movie?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, so even worse than I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4, just because it's a Fantastic Four movie that's not a Fantastic Four movie.
Is it better than some of the B movies that I've watched on TV the last couple years?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of those.
Piranha Iteration 5, the Piranha Strike Back. Okay,
it is better than the Sharknadoes and Mega
Sharknado, man.
Mega Shark versus
Sharktopus.
Sharktopus. Giant Octopus versus fucking Megalodon or whatever. All those sci-fi bullshit movies.
Hey, man.
That somehow all-star Tara Reid.
You're bored on a Saturday. Tara Reid used to be hot.
She did. Even after the fake tits.
That raspy voice, man, gets me every time.
Dude. You don't know Alan Dawson, I don't think, but he said the exact same thing. He's like, man, she is so fucking cracked out and 16 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh yeah.
She just looks.
I mean, she
looks so terrible right now.
She's grabbing Marlboro Reds, 3 or 4 of them at a time, pulling the filters out and just toking away.
He's like, God, she's so terrible looking right now, but that's that fucking voice, and I'm like, oh,
well, it's so
unique.
You just look at A-list female leads.
Yeah.
There's nobody right off the top of my head that has a voice that's similar to hers. And I think that's one of the reasons I used to like her as an actress. I mean, even before she went cracked out. It's just because, her lines of dialogue, however complex or non-complex that they were, I mean, I enjoyed listening to her voice.
Yeah.
So
I'd say the closest, maybe, this is reaching, but Jennifer Lawrence. She
definitely has a raspy voice.
She's got a little bit of rasp in there, and I mean, on top of just being absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
And wow. Fucking Jennifer Lawrence, man. Celebrity crush, number one.
She's not number one for me. She's in my top 5 for sure. Selma Hayek will always be my number one.
Wow. Yeah,
she's in her 50s and she still looks good, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, back on track with my question to you is, the Marvel and Disney kind of universe right now has kind of played on this family entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether they're film iterations of classic characters are accurate or otherwise, it's something that you can take your kids, your mom, your families. You can go and you can just be entertained.
Yes.
And DC, since, Man of Steel, BVS, I have not seen Wonder Woman yet. So,
would you like to borrow it?
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
I have it.
Yeah.
I haven't had the time. I'm trying, like everything in my life, I'm trying to get caught back up. That dad life, man, you're busy.
Yeah. I don't know about it. I hopefully someday I will know about that.
I hope you do. It's a magical experience.
It's one of the things I've always looked forward to.
I would give you a child if I could, but I like mine. So.
I thought you were gonna bear my child.
Well, I would do both of those.
Oh yeah.
But I identify as a man. But do you think,
not a male, a man?
Yeah. Do you believe that Disney is going to continue down this path of family entertainment, and with that dynamic, DC not trying to totally compete and step on Disney's toes and continue to go down the dark path that they have, of my knowledge, up until this point? Because, like I said, I haven't seen Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, it had a darkness to it. It was still on the more brighter, optimistic side of things of that particular universe
compared to the other two films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Oh.
I enjoyed Suicide Squad.
I enjoyed it as well. I know what it is, though.
Absolutely. There were a lot of things.
Much like BVS. I enjoyed it, but I know what it is.
Well, and
I know what's wrong.
I being a fan of all of these different universes.
Yes.
One of the things that, you said keep an open mind when it comes to Fantastic Four. I think what we as fans do too many times when we go to one of those movies is we sit down with an open mind, whether, we don't even plan. We're excited to be entertained.
Yeah.
And then from the onset of the movie until the credits start rolling, all we do as fans is nitpick it apart. And it can be anything.
Like, oh, that's not how that happens.
Right.
Or
and
terrible rendition.
That will ruin any experience for anybody.
Yeah.
And the kind of going back and snaking around here, the origin films for the Marvel movies. I personally don't care for Thor and Iron Man, but what you have to give testament to, I was entertained.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of been Disney's thing from the get-go, is focus on entertainment, kind of skew the lines of, the canon when they can, which I'm not, normally I would be rabbling in the street because, that's not how it was. And they've done a really good job of keeping that entertainment value to kind of overshadow some of the things that aren't necessarily correct. And, as far as the DC films, I personally care for Marvel more than I do DC. I like the majority of the villains in DC more than I like the heroes.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing. I really enjoyed Suicide Squad. I liked the comedic tone. I thought the cast that they assembled was good. Margot Robbie's hot.
Yes.
I didn't think she did a bad job as Harley Quinn. I think a lot of people just over-criticized that role.
There's only there's only 3 different versions of Harley Quinn on the screen. You got the original cartoon, you have the Arkham games, and then you have Suicide Squad. I could be wrong. There might be another. Fuck. I don't care.
There might be.
I don't know. I don't care.
DC's kind of my sidekick to the Marvel, so
Yeah.
I can't be entirely like, yeah, in 1994 there was a made-for-TV movie that starred. I can't.
No.
So,
But so this universe's Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn's a character you can kind of take and run with it, So I had no issue with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and the way she did it. However, the Joker, that was different. I'm not gonna down it.
well,
I'm not gonna down it.
you and I have had this while we're talking about the Joker. You and I have had this discussion before, and like a lot of people that I have this discussion with, when I say what I'm about to say, you looked at me with just complete sadness and shame.
Sadness. I was gonna say disgust, but sadness puts it. Yeah, that's
Just shame. Like I would have expected you to tell me to seppuku myself right where I was at because of what I'm about to utter.
Ladies and gentlemen, unpopular opinion time. Take it away, Tyler.
Listen carefully. I do not believe Heath Ledger's iteration of the Joker is the greatest of all time. And I have my opinion. I believe when you look at the Joker, you've got the original 60s and then every iteration after that. To me, when I think of the Joker, 90s Batman cartoon, Mark Hamill is the Joker to me.
Yes.
He's got the angst and, the pranks, and he's just there committing mayhem. He's not always trying to blow up the town and, whatever. Heath Ledger, now, I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy his performance. I just don't think it was the best Joker performance. Heath Ledger's iteration of the Joker was the best anarchist version.
Yeah, there's
Pure
that
anarchy.
image that went around. There's that image. It says, okay, you got the clown, you got the gangster,
Absolutely.
you got the anarchist, you got whatever Jared Leto's fucking Joker was, and then you have the Joker, and Mark Hamill's animated Joker was
Absolutely.
the Joker, and I 100% agree with that.
I liked Jared Leto's iteration.
See, I still don't think theory time. I still don't think he's the actual Joker.
I would agree with that. I don't. I don't necessarily want to say that he's a copycat, but his portrayal of the Joker, of that image that circulated on social media, I think is perfect, and his just is kind of the one that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So,
the theory, right?
For the listeners, let's talk about
it. For the listeners. Quote, unquote.
You got to think about the listeners.
The theory is that he is Jason Todd, the former Robin. And because there was another picture that circulated around when the Batman vs Superman trailer was dropping.
Mm-hmm.
You had the image of Batfleck staring at the Robin costume in a glass case, and there's 3 bullet holes.
Right.
And then the ha 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 all over it.
Right.
Well, also having 3 holes, Jared Leto's Joker has tattoos of 3 or 4 bullet holes in the exact same location.
See, I guess I just didn't pick up on that.
I wouldn't have noticed it had this picture not circulated around.
Well, I really hope, again, my opinion, I hope that that's something that they go down, because
Me too.
Brandon and I have talked about, he said that there's been rumors of a Nightwing film coming out, in the next decade.
We all thought we were going to get that with fucking Christopher Nolan.
Right. I think any time, especially with DC, you got to look at it as a decade out.
Yeah.
Because they take so long. I mean, just modern cinema in general takes so long to put something together, and with especially now, just
now that everyone's so focused on building these universes rather than just single movies.
You've got origins, and we'll get to Star Wars in a little bit, but that's one of the things that I'm really enjoying with the Star Wars part of the Disney universe, because they're doing these one-shots to kind of satiate the fans in between the larger trilogy films. And trilogy aside or anything, these one-shots are what we need. We will pay to go see them. We will pay to bring them into our homes and watch them. Everyone, entertainment value, the companies, just as far as monetary capital, everyone is going to be better off if they continue to do these one-shots. So what Brandon's told me about the Nightwing film is it's kind of going to be one of those one-shots, and if the theory of Jared Leto's Joker being Jason Todd, that's just more universe building there that they could go down with.
That's another Robin.
Absolutely.
Just like Nightwing.
Yep.
So that would make for an interesting Nightwing movie, because I guess the Joker's not going to be part of the Batman movie coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So move the Joker over to the Nightwing movie.
Yep.
And then you have this awesome, if the theory's true, Robin versus Robin type movie where instead of getting the Red Hood, we got this version of the Joker. Like he got beat senseless to the point of death and then resurrected, and the madness just stuck inside him, and he became his executioner.
Personally, I would rather see that than than as much as I enjoy the Red Hood as a character, making the Joker. That's hell yeah. But
what if at some point, okay, so Batman discovers Joker killed Jason Todd, and then Batman just goes off the fucking hinge, and that's why he was kind of in retirement for so long, and then came out of retirement here recently-ish, and then we get this old fucking Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Can I say this real quick? I love Ben Affleck as Batman.
I do too. Everybody doubted it.
I'll tell you right now.
I doubted it.
I was ready to. I actually told my wife, I'm not going to watch this. It's Ben Affleck.
See.
Okay. I regret saying that, because to me, my favorite two Batman, Affleck, and of course, now that I'm trying to say it, it's escaping me for a moment.
George Clooney, clearly.
No. Not bat nipples. I'll get back to it. I'll remember it. But
Michael Keaton?
No.
The guy after him?
Yep.
Oh, shit. I could have met him at Comic-Con earlier this year.
I'm kind of jealous.
He looked really sickly.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, yeah.
Yep, he's gained a lot of weight. Val Kilmer
he's not anymore. He's very sickly now. Well, he got sick for something like cancer or something.
Yeah. Val Kilmer, who I love as an actor, and Ben Affleck, two favorite Batman ever.
I enjoyed Val Kilmer. I can't say Christian Bale. He did a cool performance as Batman, but the voice ruined it for me. Where is he? I remember the video game. One of the interrogation things, like for the actual Batman Begins video game, was, "Are you afraid of bears?" I remember watching X-Play. I watched X-Play and they showed that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Again, entertainment value. Christian Bale did a good job.
It was an interesting take. Sure.
As far as me wanting to be entertained by Batman, I would rather watch Bat Nipples.
Yeah.
Personally.
You know what I can't wait to see, because supposedly
me with my pants off.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So supposedly the Flash movie, which I'm a huge Flash fan at this point. At this point, giant Flash fan. They're supposedly doing the Flashpoint Paradox.
That'll be cool.
And we already know who plays Thomas Wayne in this universe, right?
Right.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh yeah, I love You gotta love Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Holy fuck! They couldn't have already casted the best fucking Thomas Wayne Batman.
Right.
They couldn't have fucking cast the best one already, like years before any of that shit ever happens, and they already have the perfect guy cast, and it's like, fuck, awesome! Can't wait to see Negan as Batman.
Just historically though, they'll recast.
The motherfuckers.
Well, You look a lot. I mean, look at.
Well, I don't know, because Zack Snyder tends to use the same actors, and he's used Jeffrey Dean Morgan in Watchmen.
Which fantastic.
Yes.
I wish they would do more.
Comedian.
But you and I have talked about the whole Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, fuck her.
Oh God. But there's been so many major recasts at times that myself as the consumer and the one seeking to be entertained, it
throws you off.
You sit down and you're like, why would they're people. They're trying to make money. You know, there's disputes, whatever. But you're catering to a fan base. You're trying to pull more people into this fan base and continue your entertainment loop.
There needs to be a level of continuity.
Absolutely.
And that throws the fans off. That throws the viewers off. I mean, except in the case of Iron Man, where they had Terrence Howard as Rhodey,
right?
And then they moved to Don Cheadle, and
I think Don Cheadle did a better job. Anyway.
Fuck yeah, Don Cheadle's the man. I love Don Cheadle. If I can,
I think that they should have killed him
in Civil War.
Yeah, I think he should have died.
It would have had a really great impact.
But again, this goes back to
no pun intended to him hitting the fucking ground.
Right. This goes back. I liked your pun. This goes back to family entertainment. You know, it'll be really interesting to see what happens when they do, or when Infinity War airs finally, because some
fuckers are gonna die.
They have said multiple times, they've released statements that, you know, be prepared because some of these people are gonna die, which is, you know, it's supposed to happen. So
yeah, it needs to happen.
I appreciate the I don't want to say fan service, but you know, staying true to the canon. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are new to these universes, you know, young fans that didn't grow up on the comics and the TV shows and stuff like that. They're going to be outraged when, you know, let's just say Star-Lord dies. There are going to be a lot of people pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
You can't make everyone happy. But I think it'll be an interesting dynamic when they go kind of toward or down the darker path, which is that's why I brought this all up in general, is because that's kind of been DC's claim to fame so far.
Yeah. You know, I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I think the only death of a major, like, I guess, hero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is just Yondu.
Quicksilver.
Oh shit! I forgot about Quicksilver.
Yep, in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Which that's another.
They didn't. Okay, so with Quicksilver, you didn't have any time to really.
You weren't attached.
But all these other characters, we have 10 years worth of movies, a fucking full decade worth of movies of attachment. So when they die, it's gonna be like. Spoiler alert. You've seen Logan, right?
Oh yeah.
It's going to be like fucking Logan.
But the good thing about Logan, and my uncle and I had this conversation the other day, you know, he called me and he said, hey, I finally got to watch Logan. And I said, hey, I just watched it too. And he said, you know, I didn't really care for it. Why?
My dad said the same thing.
Logan died at the end. Well, you know, right now, the X-Men, I'm going to call it a multiverse because there's so many different time paths going on and converging and going apart from each other. That part of the reason I loved Logan so much, not just because of the entertainment value, because I was entertained from the start to the finish.
Real.
It was the realism.
It was genuine.
Right. Old man Logan is supposed to die.
Yeah.
He dies. The adamantium is poisoning him. It's been poisoning him his entire, you know, his entire constantly regenerating himself life. And that's the way that it's supposed to go.
He's older. He can't.
X-23 is supposed to take over the mantle as Wolverine. And, you know, as much as I hate to see Logan die, because, you know, Wolverine is the X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Cyclops fans. Wolverine is better. But, that for once, they were 100% accurate to the overarching story. They did what they were supposed to do, and I loved them for that. It's on a side topic though. Whenever Hugh Jackman is tired, like he is right now, I mean, Hugh Jackman's getting old.
Yeah. No
one is going to be able to do Wolverine like Hugh Jackman.
No.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. So,
if you could recast him though, who?
Well, initially, you know, there was talks about Russell Crowe before Hugh Jackman took over or took the mantle of Wolverine. There was talks about Russell Crowe doing it,
I don't know about that.
I'm a big fan of.
I like Russell
Don't
Crowe.
get me wrong. I like Russell Crowe. Could not have done as good a job.
No.
You know that the first X-Men movie was kind of rocky. You know, it was an origin story
for what
everybody.
it was. For what it was good at the time.
I'm just going for the Wolverine portrayal.
Okay.
The Wolverine portrayal was pretty rocky. Just, you know, they were constantly playing on you have amnesia and you know, you're violent, and then every iteration of Wolverine after that has been just pure primal rage and being a regular person, constantly clashing.
Yeah.
And that's what Wolverine is.
Yeah.
He struggles to be a regular guy, and then when shit's about to go down, it just snaps, and, you know, he's a violent Wolverine, and I've loved him ever since.
Hugh Jackman's done such a fucking fantastic job of being able to capture that rage.
Well, he's grown with the character.
Yes, he has. And I love that word rage because it doesn't exactly mean anger.
No.
I've said this many times. I usually have this discussion. I talk about this particular subject when talking about my all-time favorite song, which is Blue in the Gray by Parkway Drive. If you haven't heard it, please fucking listen to it. It's a fucking beautiful song.
All right.
And it's just nothing but it's rage in the form of sadness, or sadness in the form of rage. But so you get rage, and it's just, it's heart, it's passion, it's fury, it's sadness.
Yeah, rage
is an emotion amplified well past the point of its highest limits.
And directed.
Yes. And so Wolverine, you say rage, and it's instinct, it's anger, it's this him trying to find his place in the world, it's him trying to fucking be a normal person, it's him trying to fucking fight.
Well, while we're talking about Logan, you look at Wolverine in Logan. He hates Caliban. He hates Caliban with every fiber of his being, you know. And when Caliban is captured, you know, the first time he confronts somebody, where's Caliban? You know, he hates this guy, but he still wants to protect him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Loved it. I can't say it enough times. Loved it.
Same. Did you? Okay, so there was a picture circulating on the interwebs. So you've obviously seen the Wolverine,
right?
You know that prediction she made, right? Like of his death. There's a picture, and it says, "I see you. There's blood everywhere," and it shows him, of course, laying on his back, and it's like you're dying. It's like he's dying, and then it's like you have your heart in your hand,
right? And
in the Wolverine, you see that scene where he reaches up inside himself to get whatever that parasite thing out was,
right?
But the image does this really cool thing, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it. You have your heart in your hand, and then it shows the image of him holding his daughter's hand,
right.
X-23, and I'm like, wow, she still predicted it.
Yep.
And it makes me wonder if they had that in mind all along, or that just happened.
I would hope that they did.
That'd be really fucking cool if they did, but I don't think they did.
They probably didn't, but you know, that just goes to show that true fans pick up on that, and whether it was intentional or not, those little snippets. I don't want to say Easter eggs because that's not really an Easter egg, but those little snippets of emotion or fan service or whatever you want to call it, those are what make us as fans love these movies and continue to go. I mean, you look at Green Lantern. Look how terrible that was.
Oh, it was so terrible.
I went and saw it.
I didn't.
I did.
I saw it.
I saw it in theaters, and I bought it on DVD.
So bad.
It's so bad.
I pirated that, and I was like, wow, why did I waste my bandwidth on this? Why did I risk the copyright lawsuit for this?
The FBI kicking down your front door. We're not even mad that you pirated this. We're mad that you pirated Green Lantern. But, you know, other than the Fantastic Four, no matter how bad they are, I have hope that these movies, whatever they make, whenever they make them, they're going to be good. They're going to continue to entertain me. and that they're gonna tug on my heartstrings like Logan did.
Oh yeah.
So
I enjoy movies that really tug on your heartstrings. I don't come across as an emotional guy, but like I like things that make me feel.
absolutely.
Like that's how I am with music. That's how I am with writing music. That's how I am with movies and entertainment and anything in life. Some things that make me feel are the best.
Well, especially you look at books.
Yeah.
If you read a book and you read a line or a paragraph and you get this feeling and you look and the hair standing up on your arm, you're reading a good book. You're reading a good part. Maybe you're reading a good part of a bad book, but you are feeling something subconsciously, and that is something that we don't get enough.
I agree. Man,
we're getting deep again.
We're getting deep again.
We must go deeper. All right, let's move on from Logan on to Star Wars.
On to Star Wars.
All right, I want to talk about what your predictions for the trilogy or for this newest trilogy film are going to be, and then how you feel about potentially Han Solo next year.
I'm just gonna go right to Han Solo.
That's fine.
And say I wish they would have got Chris Pratt.
How? You cannot have said that any better.
They fucking missed the mark. I mean, I don't know this guy. I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. And Star Wars they have a pretty strong history of casting people that aren't well known.
Right.
I mean, look, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega.
Well, look at Harrison Ford. He was a carpenter on the set. He was building stage pieces.
Yeah.
I
think was he in American Graffiti?
Yes.
Okay.
But that was really his only role.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher had
well, she had her mom and dad.
Right.
That was her claim to fame at the time, and so she was born into it. And then you have so you have Mark Hamill.
Okay, really the only major actors in the first movie were the guy's name always escapes me. The guy that plays old Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He was pretty popular in that time period. And then
Sir Alec Guinness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Darth Vader's voice.
Well, it wasn't always James Earl Jones.
No, but James Earl Jones was super popular at the time.
Yeah.
So, totally agree that they have a history of casting no-name people.
However, I saw who's playing Lando.
I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited. I love Donald Glover.
I'm really bad with people's names that aren't super popular at the time, or they haven't been super popular, or not super popular, but super instrumental in my entertainment library.
Yeah.
I like Donald Glover.
I love Donald Glover. Have you seen it? If you watch his stand-up, if you ever get a chance.
He's great. He's a great stand-up. But it should have been Chris Pratt.
It should have been Chris Pratt, because then they could, I think I told you, they could have easily done the whole Indiana Jones.
That's the same direction I went with it. Why would you shoot your? Now, granted, I'm sure Chris Pratt would jump at the opportunity to play Han Solo.
Oh yeah,
and Indiana Jones, he would do fantastic in either of those roles. I'm sure it was a monetary decision. Do we want to
possibly?
Do we want to pay?
Maybe his
Chris
schedule.
Pratt 70% of the salary of the total cast.
True. Maybe his schedule just didn't permit it to.
Right, with Guardians and
Avengers,
Infinity War,
and then any other movies he fucking does,
which are all great.
Oh yeah, there's the movies that Chris Pratt's in that I don't like aren't because I don't like him. It's because I just don't know they exist. I don't know what he's in.
Yeah, I honestly can't tell you that I've seen a Chris Pratt movie that I don't enjoy.
I'm trying to think of it. He was in Remember the Titans or some movie like that, right? No. Okay.
No.
I suck, I guess.
Well, I suck too but I know he wasn't in that.
Oh no, I'm thinking of another movie. It's another fucking high school sports movie, or some shit. I think it had Samuel L. Jackson. Whatever.
I'm like Mr. Krabs right now. I have no idea what's going on.
But okay, so my predictions for The Last Jedi. Obviously, you can in the trailer you see Rey being trained. There's the whole. I saw the last time I saw this much power. I wasn't afraid. Now I am. So like they're giving us mixed signals there, but at the same time, it's like Luke is clearly going to be very weary about training her.
How much? Not to interrupt you, but how much weird Mark Hamill do you think is gonna? Because Mark Hamill the last like decade and a half has done some really weird things, said some really weird things. How much of real Mark Hamill you think is going to be pulled into Luke as an old man?
I think a great deal because I mean he's been alone for a while,
right? And
on top of that, he's very skeptical. I think he's
that's a good way to put it.
He's a very gray Jedi. He's never been an official Jedi,
right?
I mean, okay, so Yoda said he finished it. Your training's complete. Well, or complete your training is.
Technically, he's just become a regular Jedi then at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
and not even really by title.
I think he's a gray Jedi. He's whatever. But I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna turn his back on Rey at some point, or deny Rey, and Rey is gonna, being the young Force user that she is and very impulsive person that she is going to be vulnerable. And then there's that scene there at the end of the trailer
when she's being tortured,
Kylo Ren reaching out his hand saying join me or whatever. I think there's a lot of misdirection in that trailer.
Absolutely.
That definitely, like, I'm not gonna be naive and turn a blind eye to the trickery that is a trailer.
Well, there's a lot of scenes in that trailer, like when Kylo is in his modified ship, and his finger is hovering over the button, and then it pans over to Carrie Fisher,
yes,
standing on the bridge of a starship, and the way that couple scenes,
want you to believe
they want you to think that he's about to blow the ship up, but everyone on that bridge is standing just nonchalantly, super calm,
Yeah,
they don't look like they're about to meet their demise. Yeah, so
no red coats.
I definitely agree with a lot of.
I can't believe I just used a fucking Star Trek joke while talking about Star Wars.
I liked it.
I hate myself.
It was okay. I don't hate you.
I hate myself.
Well, that's a personal problem. But definitely a lot of misdirection. Do you think that it's going to be Luke turning his back on Rey, or Rey turning her back on Luke because she's not
getting what she thought about?
Yes, she's gone into this with super high because in The Force Awakens, Maz tries to give her the lightsaber and she's like, "Oh, I don't want that." And then, John Boyega fights Stormtrooper number TR8, but
TR8R,
yeah,
traitor.
Yep.
Traitor.
But and just fails at life in general. I'm not a big John Boyega fan myself.
His character, while I enjoyed it, was a bit much at times.
I think it just didn't have enough. I don't know, just enough invested. He just kind of felt like he was there the whole time.
He was comic relief.
They tried to play too much on romantic tension between John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, the first half of the movie, and then, we'll go save her. Are you saving Rey, or are you saving just galactic civilization from Starkiller Base, But I personally think that Rey is going to turn her back on Luke.
I haven't thought about that, and I like that.
And what I ultimately hope happens is that Kylo comes back to the light, because in the entire first movie, it's him struggling with the light overtaking the dark.
Which I always thought that was an amazing perspective.
I really like that they went that direction.
You never see that. You always see the people struggling with the darkness. You never see the dark character being like, I'm being pulled towards the light. I'm being like, I don't want that, but it's drawing me in, and it's like you never see that, and that's bravo.
Yeah, one of the things that I didn't like about Kylo in the first movie, and normally everybody goes straight to the tantrums. I didn't like the scene where he's communing with Darth Vader's smoldering charred skull.
He's talking to him. Yeah.
We didn't need that, you know.
Well, you kind of do, because you have to understand that he idolizes Vader at this point.
But did he really go to Endor and find the funeral pyre and grab the helmet?
Maybe he didn't. Maybe Snoke did.
Yeah. That was just...
Yeah,
I agree that it was there to show how much he idolizes Vader, but...
It's his grandfather. It's his ancestry. And, and
but
Vader
that was kind of weird.
Well... He's a weird guy. He's fucking Adam Driver. He's a fucking weirdo.
I like Adam. I like that they cast him.
Oh yeah, they and everybody says he's always whining, he's throwing these tantrums. It's like, dude, he's of the dark side, and he has all this rage inside of him. Mm-hmm. Once again, rage.
Back to rage, yeah.
He's raging against
the machine,
the universe. I don't fucking know.
I had to say it.
I didn't want to say machine. That's where I was going. I obviously, but I was setting it up. But
ultimately, I think, or I hope, that Kylo is the one that comes back to the light. But I really hope what I hope for most in this Empire Strikes Back remaster. I'm not upset about that. A lot of people
HD remake.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset. Well, the first one's A New Hope, and the next one's going to be Empire.
It has parallels. Just like every other thing in fucking Star Wars.
Well, just every, we go back to cinematic universe. I want that. I want some continuity. And I hope that, Rey turns her back on Luke and everybody else, because unpopular opinion, again, I'm not a big Daisy Ridley fan.
Yeah, you've mentioned that to me.
She did a good job. I would have cast somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Like, I'm willing to give her one more movie before I decide whether I truly enjoy her.
Well, it's Star Wars, so no matter what, I'm gonna love it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm gonna love it.
Fuck yeah.
But, Star Wars is one of those movies that I've been involved in for so long. And,
yes.
My dad has a Star Wars room in his house. I have a Star Wars room in my house.
Oh, wow.
I love Star Wars. I was really mad at Disney when they did away with the expanded universe and made it all non-canon.
For the most part.
For the most part, right?
The Old Republic stuff's still canon.
Which, Brandon and I have talked about that. Where do they go next after this trilogy?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully the Old Republic. I've just never really had a chance, but I love your Darth Revan tattoo, by the way.
Thank you.
Gets me moist.
Thank you for knowing that it's Darth Revan.
Oh, yeah.
And not being like, hey, nice Kylo Ren tattoo.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. I don't even know that I would give someone the satisfaction of telling them to fuck off. I would just ignore their existence.
There was somebody at the gym, and he was genuine. He's like, dude, I really like your tattoo. Who is that? Kylo Ren? He was just being genuine. And I immediately triggered, snapped, and was like, fuck off. Just like that. I'm like, fuck off. I'm like, oh, and I immediately apologized. I was like, dude, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
he's my favorite Star Wars character.
That's a good one.
Hands down.
That's a good one. I'm a Boba Fett guy myself, but
Boba Fett's cool and all that, but
it's not just Boba. It's the whole Mandalorian culture in general. You go.
I prefer old school Mandalorians from the Old Republic.
The armor's pretty badass.
Oh hell yeah, the Neo Crusader armor. Hell yeah.
But
love that shit. I used to so from my freshman year throughout high school and a little bit into college, just on and off, I used to write Star Wars fan fiction on a message board. It was role playing,
right?
Or it was a role playing board, and so I had this character, Canderous Kixoni, and Darth, also known as Darth Apollyon.
Okay,
and it was fucking badass. Let me tell you.
Tell you what in tarnation.
He was a Mandalorian Sith.
That's something that I've always wanted to see.
I wrote him a backstory. He was raised on a Mandalorian camp on Duxon.
There you go.
You've played the Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, correct? So he was on the Onderonian moon of Duxon, and then he got, of course, taken by some Sith and blah 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 blah. He became a Sith. years later, and then but his instead of wearing the typical Sith robes, he had a set of Mandalorian Neo Crusader armor that he had fashioned with crate dragon scales, and of course I had to embellish the shit out of it, and like have like of course like his shoulder blades are the shoulder plates are lined with like crate dragon fangs, and I was obviously tangenting a little bit into one of our later subjects or our next subject, whatever it will be.
I'm erect right now. I have to tell you that.
You know where I'm going.
I do.
I'm a huge fan. My favorite video game series of all time is Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah.
So of course, like I'm thinking of like Rathalos armor and shit when I'm writing all this shit, and so I'm trying to in my mind envision like what a Star Wars character would look like with armor similar to that, and so that's what I crafted for my Star Wars character. So obviously I'm a huge fan of Mandalorians and their way of life, and I can actually maybe pull up some shit at some point if I really dig, but I've gone back and looked at like all my old posts and my stories and shit, and I'm like, okay, there's some really good shit here had I written it better.
Well, that's just, I mean,
but I was a freshman.
Yeah, right.
Shit like that. But so I always tried to really.
What could I do now had I known, or
had I known how to write?
Yes.
I always tried my best to blend those two different cultures, the Sith and the Mandalorians. I thought it made for a really interesting character.
Do you think we'll ever see any more? I don't want to say Boba Fett-esque characters like they've kind of tried to portray Phasma as. But do you think we're ever going to see me? Because as far as I'm concerned, Boba Fett made it out of that damn Sarlacc pit. So,
and now non-canon, yes, he did.
Well, I read a thing not long ago that said from Disney that said kind of canon that he did make it out.
Oh.
So one of the things that I want to see.
So okay.
Potentially from an Old Republic is like the formation of the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Okay.
I think that would be not. I mean, obviously, I don't want to see that all by itself, but that would be something really cool to tie into a storyline, because just in Star Wars in general, every media, comics, books, the movies, the bounty hunters, or bounty hunters in general, are a big part of the total universe. Mm-hmm. Let's bring some more of that to light.
I agree. So, jumping forward to another anthology film that they have not exactly announced, but everybody knows is going to happen, the Boba Fett movie. We already have an origin story for Boba Fett.
Right.
Jango Fett, Attack of the Clones.
Right.
Terrible movie. You're huffing.
Okay, unpopular opinion again. I loved the prequel trilogy.
They're not bad. They're
for
not
the
as
entertainment
bad.
value.
Yes, exactly.
What ruined the Attack of the Clones for me was too much teeny bopper love story.
Yeah.
But that was entirely necessary.
It was.
For Hayden Christensen's, Anakin Skywalker's total development into Darth Vader. It was necessary.
It was. I'm not downing any of that. Like I'm downing just overall I thought that movie was kind of boring.
It definitely did struggle.
It's there
a lot of times.
It's there. I'll watch it. If I'm gonna watch the entire series, I will watch it. I have no issue doing that. There are some really cool moments, like fucking facing off against Dooku, and
Jango Fett was badass.
Jango Fett was badass, although he went down like a bitch.
Yeah, it's Mace Windu though, man.
I know.
Old Samuel L.
So, do we get like an origin story with Boba Fett in terms of like how he got involved with the Empire or some shit like tell a story from before the Star Wars movies? Because obviously we've seen if you've seen
Rebels.
Is he in Rebels? Oh, I haven't watched Rebels yet.
I haven't. I've only seen bits and pieces and clips, but he is pretty involved in Rebels.
He is in Clone Wars.
Yes.
Child Boba Fett is in Clone Wars. But do we get some like random miscellaneous major story, or do we get him after the Sarlacc pit? Oh, yeah. Do we get that?
Well, see, part of him getting out of the Sarlacc pit was involved with another bounty hunter named Dengar.
Yeah.
You know, he crawls out, Dengar finds him about dead. You know, there's a lot of turmoil between Boba and Dengar, and my second favorite bounty hunter, Bosk.
I don't know Bosk.
The Trandoshan, the lizard man.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Super badass, you know, hates Trandoshans and Wookiees. There's a big controversy there. So what I hope they do is, since they're doing the Han Solo anthology film now, if they do the Boba Fett anthology film next, there's a lot that you can tie together there, because in the old expanded universe and a lot of fan fiction, Boba Fett and Han Solo run into each other a lot.
Yeah,
and they don't hate each other, but they are always pitted against each other. Han Solo's just trying to smuggle some goods, you know, running from Jabba the Hutt, doing his thing, and Boba Fett's just doing his job.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
murking around.
Murking around, might incinerate some people. I mean, you know, he does his thing, but I think that would be a really good dynamic. You know, do some fan service. Give all the millions of Boba Fett fans what they've been asking for.
And if they are going to do it, don't fucking put it in the trailer. Oh no, that'd actually be pretty cool for the trailer. A really awesome trailer reveal. Like at the tail end of a trailer, just fucking him walking, like
him and Han like dueling.
Yeah, just like hit Boba Fett walking in, and then you pan up from the boots up, and it's like pow, and then cut.
Like him standing at the base of the ramp for the Slave One.
Yeah. Him walking down the ramp, and then.
Part of the reason I love Boba Fett so much is because the Slave One is such a badass ship.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't know. I've got really mixed feelings about it, because it's something that I've wanted for so long, and I think if they're gonna do it, they're either gonna do it, you know, 5 stars all in, or they're gonna do kind of what Clone Wars and Rebel. Spoiler alert: Boba Fett's like a young / teenager in Rebels.
Yeah,
and I just hope they don't go down that path, because I don't need to see young Boba Fett again. I don't need to see teenage Boba Fett. Disney's already given us that.
Mm-hmm.
Give us adult Boba Fett doing his thing. You know, we don't need to worry about heroes and morals. Give me Boba Fett.
Yep.
That's what we want. We want Boba Fett flying around, making credits, doing his thing.
Making them galactic creds.
That's right.
Oh, hell yeah. Tyler, I got to hand it to you. You are one of very few people that I consider on my level with Star Wars.
I appreciate that.
And, you know, like, not that I've really tested my grit against some fucking people, but sometimes I'll be talking to people and I'm like, you just don't get it.
Well, I mean, you know, Star Wars is one of those things. You know, there's the whole Star Wars versus Star Trek controversy. We're not going to get into that.
No.
I love the new iteration of Star Trek.
Same.
I'm just going to say that. Chris Pine is fantastic. Carl Urban is fantastic as Bones. But
what is your opinion on Carl Urban in general?
Oh, I love Carl Urban.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Jeffrey Dean Morgan for me. I love Carl Urban in anything. The Doom movie, terrible. Loved Carl Urban.
Oh yeah, Pathfinder.
Oh yeah, terrible
Carl
movie.
Urban.
Loved it.
RoboCop, or no, not RoboCop. Judge Dredd.
Oh, I loved Carl Urban as Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, he played perfect.
You can't beat Sly Stallone as Judge Dredd, because he is Judge Dredd, but Carl Urban did a fucking fantastic job. Yes. Even though that movie sucked, still entertaining.
I don't know. I think it was pretty good for what it was.
For the majority of people, that movie sucked.
Really? I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, you could pull up Rotten Tomatoes right now, and it's got like.
Oh man, 3. we did that last week. I took my very first adventure to Rotten Tomatoes on.
I've been using Rotten Tomatoes since like Windows 95.
Oh shit,
it's great.
Yeah, we looked up Geely.
Oh god, did it have like a 1?
I don't even fucking remember what it had.
That's probably the worst movie of all time.
No, that's The Room. Have you heard of The Room?
Yes, yeah. Hollywood Homicide's up there for me too. We've talked about that, but
Yes.
Back on track. I don't even know what to say at this point. We need some Boba Fett. We need more Star Wars. And the people out there that say that Star Wars is stupid, this is something that I have had since my childhood. I've been involved and been invested in. And my dad saw the original Star Wars on opening night.
Oh, wow.
In Lakeside, California, in a 2-theater little it's called the Megaplex.
Yeah.
That is something that I have been able to enjoy with my dad and my uncle and my friends my entire life.
Same.
You can't take that away from us. You know, if people love Star Trek, that's cool. It's been around since the 60s.
Yeah, even longer.
Yeah, even longer. Cool, man. Be a Trekkie, wear your red shirt.
Yeah, wear your red shirt.
But I'm not going to say which one is better because I love them both.
Yeah.
But it is a part of our culture because the original Star Wars did things effects-wise that nobody had ever done. Star Trek is a great sci-fi epic. No one had ever done a space opera other than Flash Gordon. You know, and
yeah.
Nobody says, man, I'm going to go see that new Flash Gordon film this Christmas. So,
just wait, it's coming.
Well, I wouldn't be upset if it did. But,
yeah.
You know, Star Wars is a part of us, or is a part of cinema and film as a culture.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't knock it.
No.
You just can't.
And the people that do,
they're uneducated. It's fake news.
It's fake news. It's fake news. All right, so one thing I've been dying to talk to you about. I haven't even really delved into it at work with you.
Because we haven't had time. We've been busy little bees.
We either never work with each other,
That's
or right. I'm off somewhere else in Subaru land.
Yep.
Because I'm that guy that just happens to know a ton of shit there.
Are you in that place where they put the little hearts and teddy bears in the cars?
Oh no, I have yet to discover that room.
You'll get there.
Because that's where see, I know it's there because they say in the commercials, love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
That's right. Where do they put the love in at?
And I asked, I swear to God, I fucking asked our AR rep when I was still on night shift. I was like, dude, I gotta know, like, where in the plant do they put the love in the car? I want to know because I want to apply for a position there. Like, it's obviously a key skill job.
Right.
Like, I want to put in for it, you know, because I think I would excel in that area. Fuck, I could be a team leader in that fucking area.
I think it might be hidden because it's actually like a Build-A-Bear franchise.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're putting the little hearts in the bears and then putting the bear inside the car. And
double the love,
you know,
right there.
There's glitter and confetti. And
yeah. I always just imagine like a line, much like our own,
right?
Or much like, have you ever been to like ED Sand or Surfacer?
Yeah.
So like you see the people like with the rags and the sanders and shit, and just, the cars are going by and they're just spot checking, you know. I always just imagine something like that, but like instead of like sanding and rags, it's just teddy bears and they're just rubbing the cars with fucking teddy bears.
Well, I feel that I put a little bit of love in every car.
Oh yeah,
when I put the fuel flap on Station 16.
Oh yeah, like you penetrate the car with the fuel.
That's right.
That fuel flap jig.
God, that thing's such a pain in the ass.
It is.
But
you haven't done 12 right yet? Station 12. Right?
I haven't. I don't know Station 12.
Oh boy, when you learn. Oh, okay. So the way it's set up right now, and sorry for whoever's listening that has no fucking idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, we kind of got off topic.
But yeah, we're not. We go totally.
We're in Subaru right now.
We tangented from a topic we hadn't even started, and so they took off a bunch of shit from Station 11.
Which I love now. Station 11.
Oh yeah,
cake,
right,
dude.
It was cake for me. It was.
I hated it.
You're newer. I get it.
I hated it.
Eventually it just clicks and you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but Greg's Guidos, man.
Oh, fuck him.
I miss Heritage Greg, but
say it.
Heritage.
He was such a piece of shit.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
But you couldn't help but kind of like him.
Oh yeah, he's better than Jacob.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather have Greg than Jacob.
Jacob, the 19-year-old.
I hope he listens to this.
He might. I don't know. He's only watched the episodes that are on Facebook where I did Facebook Live.
He's gonna listen to this. I'm gonna make him listen to it, and then he's gonna remember that thrashing I gave him when we were leaving work on Monday, and I told him he's the worst example of a human being I've ever seen.
Jacob, if you're listening, remember, you should have been a postpartum abortion.
Boom.
Yeah. But okay, so Station 12, the left side doesn't do jack shit. The right side does all the shit.
That's kind of like Station 16 right now.
Exactly. Station 16 is 12, totally loaded on one side, totally cake on the other, and it's not good. I had German doing half of my car.
Yeah.
On Station 11.
I was doing that a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, he was doing my entire rear door, and yeah. At first it was an accident, and then he just started doing it on purpose.
Right.
And I was still running my ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Having half the job done already for me, I was still running around.
There's definitely, I mean,
I'm one of the faster workers up there.
We're going to talk about Subaru a little bit. There's definitely some, I like this trial. I like a lot of the things that we're doing with this trial. I think that there's definitely some tweaks that we need to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Station 16, for example, today when I was working with Joe, I was brushing the entire hatch area.
Yeah.
And we kept up fine. If I was only brushing my side, we were behind the whole time. Just because there's the person on the right side is now doing the entire engine compartment and checking the hood scrapes, which takes no time.
No.
But you already start behind, and then you got to lower the hood, put the jig away, do all that crap, brush your side, and then get around to the hatch, lower the hatch. So I was brushing the entire hatch, and we kept up the whole quarter. So
I was working with Panda.
Old Panda.
I can't.
Were you doing some Saturns?
So I honestly can't remember if I've talked about her on the podcast or not, but
it almost needs its own episode.
Honestly, it probably could when we need to bring Joe in.
Oh yeah,
and you and Brandon. All three of you guys need to be on my show for this. But so we have this temporary named Tiffany, and we're not going to go into too many details yet. But I compare her to the panda bear, as nature has done everything it possibly could to endanger and extinguish the panda bear from existence. Yet the panda bear still clings to life. It teeters back and forth between endangered and whatever's right next to endangered that's safe, technically. It just teeters, and it just will not
I
fucking die.
I believe the actual designation is threatened.
Threatened, yes. I like that, and it's real, I'm assuming. But so it teeters between extinct, endangered and threatened. And right now it's considered threatened. And nature has thrown everything at the panda to make it just not...
Well, not just nature and man.
Nature and man.
Man,
correct.
I mean, with deforestation and everything that we've done in our constant path of manifest destiny.
As I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm going to say this knowing that I have a book from the author Maddox, however the fuck you say his name. Some people... Scenario,
if you're an asshole.
Maddox. I always say his name's Maddox. I have a book by him called Fuck Whales.
Let me see that.
Fuck Whales, also families, poetry, folksy wisdom, and you. Petty essays from a brilliant mind.
That's fucking great.
I've been following Maddox for well over 14, 15 years. And it's satirical blogging. He throws satirical opinions out there, and he's fucking hilarious. He's a fucking narcissistic piece of shit, and I love it. He wrote The Alphabet of Manliness. Have you read that?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
I'm going to, not to hijack your soapbox, but I'm going to read 2 little snippets of what people are saying about Maddox. The first one's from Kimberly. Fuck you and kill yourself. The second one's from Ben. You are retarded. Why don't you eat a bowl full of cocks? You'd probably love that. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, he always puts like the terrible fucking reviews on the back of his books. I love it.
People get so triggered over nothing.
So fuck whales. I agree with that sentiment. Also, because of Maddox and his hatred of whales throughout the years, I've also developed a hatred for whales because I agree. They're totally. Oh, okay. I've actually talked about this. Prequel to Podcastrophe, my segment on Journey into Comics, I had a whole segment on how much I fucking hated whales. I think, if I remember right. I think it was my first one. But anyway, so I also have an unreasonable hatred of pandas because fuck pandas. They need to fucking become extinct. Sure, cool. They look cute and whatever. But fuck them. They are too dumb to fucking procreate. Nature has given them such a low sex drive that they're too dumb to save their own species by fucking.
That's true.
Like they don't have enough sex drive to be like, oh hey there,
I'm a panda.
You're a panda. You're a panda. Let's make this happen.
Let's do some panda stuff.
Let's do some pandas, and then
you can eat all that bamboo.
Yeah, exactly. You see this scenario happen in your mind, and it's like, hey there. And then the panda things happen. And instead of, those panda things leading to fucking and making more little pandas so they can fuck and make more little pandas.
They're just eating bamboo.
They're just eating bamboo.
Taking a nap.
And taking naps and just being completely fucking useless.
Yeah, that's great.
Useless fucking animals. I hate them. Fuck them. Same with whales. Eating fuck. Okay, cool. They help the krill population and shit. But they get beached. How dumb do you have to be to get fucking beached?
Yeah, but dolphins and sharks get beached too. I mean, that's kind of a bad one to use.
I mean, yeah, but dolphins are...
People get beached at Walmart. Help me, Cletus. I've fallen out of my hover round.
Holy shit. We have gone way too far. And I am going to rein us back in.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter.
Yep.
Fucking Monster Hunter. A game that I have played since 2004.
Yep.
On PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I played that game, I think, for 2-3 years before I finally got a network adapter and played it online.
I never got the ability to play the original U.S. Monster Hunter online. So I missed out on that.
I got the network adapter. Having already completely destroyed the solo.
Right.
I got the network adapter and I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. And so I had the network adapter for a whole year before I was able to play online. Before I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this again and see. Cause I think what I did originally was I just took an Ethernet cable and I plugged it I took a phone line and I plugged it directly into the wall into the network adapter. And silly me.
We were kids.
But then, yeah, I wasn't a kid. I was in high school.
I was a kid.
You're a year behind me.
Yeah, I started playing Monster Hunter.
I was in 8th grade when I started playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I would have been in 7th grade, yeah.
So, sophomore year.
Bought it used from Blockbuster.
Ooh, I bought it brand new from Toys R Us.
Ooh.
And, so, I finally get the idea. I'm like, wait, what if I plug an Ethernet? My mom, she somehow, for whatever reason, had a 50-foot Ethernet cable.
Moms are good for that.
And this is when we were still living in Benjamin Crossing, so we had a 2-story house. I ran this Ethernet cable from the entry room where the computer was, so the modem was there, ran it all the way up and around stairs and through a couple rooms, all the way to my bedroom where I hooked it in. And so I finally play it. And I got accused of cheating immediately. Game Shark, action replay. Fuck you.
God damn
They're
it.
like, how do you have that armor? You're only Hunter rank 1. I'm like, fuck you. I played offline. Like, I'm sorry you're jealous of my fucking full Rathalos and Siegement.
Early online gaming. Console based.
Oh yeah. Early. I had a lot of fucking good times with Monster Hunter. So did you beat offline?
Oh yeah.
So you played a Troublesome Pair.
Oh, yeah.
That son of a bitch of a fucking quest.
God damn it.
But you know the fun thing about that is those were actually the online versions of Rathalos and Rathian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were not only that, but they were like, so there's the plus rank once you hit hunter rank, I think 11 or no, hunter rank 4 on there, then it goes to the plus rank.
Okay.
Or maybe it's hunter rank 11, one of the two. And then it goes to plus rank, and everything has higher health and higher attack. And so everything fucking hits like a fucking truck,
right.
and they take forever to kill.
Right.
Or maybe it was the other way around. I think it was higher attack and defense, same health.
That would make sense.
Either way. So you go into this thing, you're like, oh fuck, Rathian and Rathalos, this is the final quest, and okay, cool, they're in the same area, whatever. No, you go in there and you're like, I've taken down countless Rathalos and Rathian. This is easy, whatever. No, they fuck you up.
Well, it entirely changes your strategy of what you've used for, let's just say, 20 hours.
Yeah.
Just a hard number, 20 hours. You know, you go in, you throw a flash bomb, you lay down your pitfall trap, put some bombs underneath the, I would always throw down a large bomb and then like 2 small bombs and then dive away. And then I would get, 3 small explosions. It would come to and then charge towards the pitfall trap, and then I'd beat the hell out of it once it fell into the trap.
Mm-hmm.
With 2 of them, which are more powerful, it changes everything.
Yeah. They hit like a fucking
and
Mack
it's
truck.
almost impossible to catch them both in a flash bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as much as I love Monster Hunter and the Monster Hunter franchise, the camera controls have never really been a strong point on any system.
Really? They're a lot better nowadays.
They're definitely better, but you look at...
I was constantly spamming that L1, which centered.
Right. But, when you're fighting 2 at the same time, you're spamming L1, one of them's eventually going to get behind you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to get poisoned or lit on fire, or it's going to roar and you're going to get stunned,
Mm-hmm.
So...
early on in my monster hunting days, I never dodged. I
well,
constantly
if you used a great sword,
I constantly threw up, but that doesn't always work, and it drains your stamina.
Right.
I mean, dodging does that too, but at least you're getting out of the way. You can't just stay stationary the whole time. But no, so as soon as I learned how to dodge, I started using this technique where I would basically I would be running, and then I'd swing the sword.
Do the overhand.
I do the overhand draw attack.
Mm-hmm.
Roll, sheath, run. I would do that. And so like that, especially if I was using greatsword. Anything else, it's whatever. But so I it took me like a year to finally get to that point. When I game, not so much these days, but when I used to game, I would be really shitty for like the longest time, and then it would either just click and I'd be amazing at the game, or I would eventually develop into a mediocre player.
Right.
I plateaued pretty hard on Halo. Like I would always get to a certain point, and I would just stay exactly at that point and never get better.
All right.
It wasn't until like these later games of Monster Hunter where I finally actually developed some real skill with the game.
Well, you have actually played a lot more Monster Hunter, we'll say, in the last 5 years than I have, because you've played the handhelds.
Yes.
Which I have not. I am not an avid handheld gamer.
I was pissed when I discovered the new American Monster Hunter was going to PSP. And then I of course I was like, well, I'm going to get it anyways, but fuck them.
Right.
But I'm going to get it still because it's Monster Hunter, and I did kind of enjoy the idea of being portable.
I don't fit into that demographic where I play. Like, if I'm not at home, I'm normally doing something.
Yeah.
Even when I was a college student, I was doing something. So it never really, I wasn't a part of that target audience.
Mm-hmm.
But, I really enjoyed Monster Hunter 3 or Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate.
On the Wii.
On the Wii U.
Actually, no, it was Tri on the Wii and then 3 Ultimate on the
Yeah,
U.
that's right.
Like, they changed. They're like, okay.
I'm still playing it right now,
Oh, no shit.
I busted out my Wii U again the other day. It was just sitting, And
that was a fantastic game. I never fully beat the online because so I originally had it on Wii U. A funny story. So when it first came out, about a week before the game came out, I bought my Wii U.
Right.
And just so I could have the Wii U ready to go, all updated and ready to go, whatever. So I'm at Best Buy. I'm picking the Wii U up, and I look over, and on the shelf there is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I'm like, the fuck is this?
What, they do put it out early?
Yeah, on accident. So of course, I'm like, yoink.
Yeah.
And I tried to buy it, and it wouldn't show up on the register. They're like, yeah, this isn't working. So they tried calling the manager. I was like, well, it doesn't come out until next week. And they're like, oh, well, what's it doing out? I was like, I don't know. I want to buy it though.
You outed yourself.
Yeah, it's whatever. I had to. It wasn't gonna happen.
I would have fought them for it.
I was like, well, it's fucking out. So
Thunderdome right now. 2-man enter.
So I fucking. Of course, my plan was if I could get it that day, I was just gonna run over to GameStop and be like, hey, I want my money back. I'm canceling my pre-order.
Right.
Lo and behold, it didn't happen. But no, so I had it for Wii U, played it a lot. Ended up selling my Wii U to Nick Maxon. He still has my Wii U. So then I got rid of Monster Hunter. A year or two later, a couple other people, they were like, yeah, I play Monster Hunter. I was like, oh no, my little brother, he played Monster Hunter. He had it for
That's cool.
He had it for 3DS because, well, he always watched me play it. So he had it for 3DS, and I was like, well, fuck, I have a 3DS now because I bought Pokemon Y version, whatever. It wasn't a bad game. It's not the original. So, but
I still play Pokemon Yellow on my original Game Boy Color.
Very nice, very fucking nice. But so I got 3DS, and so I already had the 3DS, and then I got Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for 3DS, so I could play with my little brother. And so I had that for a while. I played it, and then I got hired full time. Went back to night shift, and I discover Alan Dawson plays fucking Monster Hunter. Him and I bonded, much like you and I, over Monster Hunter, and eventually I convinced him. I was like, dude, you should get a 3DS and play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate with me, because he hadn't played since the original game.
Oh, really?
He had not played since the original game.
That's cool that you got him back into it.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, wow, this is awesome. And then our friend Nick Torres, original creator of Podcastrophe, no longer with us on Podcastrophe or ever was part of Podcastrophe.
All right.
There's a story there, but hopefully he'll be on someday. We have such differing schedules, and I haven't bothered to ask him. But so we all played Monster Hunter. We would, after work, sometimes 3 a.m, we'd go over to Alan's apartment and just all play Monster Hunter.
Hey, that's cool, man.
Every Tuesday night, and we would grind like. I had to catch Alan up to where I was, and then, of course, months later, or whenever we got Nick to join, we had to catch him up, and he never got good at the game. He's just
that guy running around.
He's like, hey, dude, just go collect some shit. Here, hold my meat. He became our pack mule.
Hold my meat.
And then, of course, my now roommate, he had always played. I introduced him to Monster Hunter back in the day.
Right.
So I convinced him to get a 3DS and him to get it. And so he joined us, and he's a hardcore. He's one of those people that you give him something to do, and he will immediately become amazing at it. And that's what he did with Monster Hunter originally. And then he went hard into Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Or no. By the time we got him involved, 4 Ultimate was out.
Which I never played.
It was okay. I mean, okay. I hated it at first because they introduced the climbing and mounting and all that shit.
Which is one of the things that I'm weary about in the upcoming world.
It's cool.
Because I've never been a part of it.
It was neat in 4. I think they took it to the next level with Monster Hunter World, and I think it's going to be a very integral part. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's just move straight into Monster Hunter World.
I'm good with that.
So we finally have it on a real console again, not a Wii U. We have
not the Wii, not handhelds.
We have
it's on AAA consoles.
Yes, we have it on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and soon after that the PC.
Oh, it is coming to PC?
It is coming to PC.
That's cool. I didn't realize that.
And it's going to supposedly be cross-platform play. It's
cool.
already cross... it's international. You'll be able to play all over the world. Doesn't matter. However, so hopefully it's cross-platform too. I'll be down for that. Then I can play with my brother. Because he's like, I'm getting it for PC. I'm like, you're gay. But so yeah, I'm excited. They're bringing, so far the only monster I've seen they're bringing back is Rathalos. Oh, and Baroth and Diablos.
I think that from what I've read, that they're gonna bring back a lot of them. They're basically just reskins. I mean, like the Yaggies and the Baggies and the Snaggies and the Taggies. They're all. I mean, they're gonna be the same thing. I really hope there's a Yan Kut-Ku. Because I always loved killing the shit out of those pig fucking chickens. Well, that was, that is your first major monster that you fight.
A lot of people voted that is the hardest challenge of the first game.
Absolutely.
Because it's the first time you go up against something like that. You don't know what to do. I struggled hardcore.
Oh, I did too. I mean, I think everybody does. Up until that point, you fight the
Velocidrome.
The Velocidrome and the what was the boars called?
Oh, the Bullfango.
Bullfango. That's really all you had.
Yeah.
So you farmed Bullfango and Velocidrome to get, geared up, and then it's, especially when you do the quest for the first time and you see this cutscene, it's like, it's a big goofy pink chicken.
And then it fucks just you up.
Beats the fucking hell out of you. It's pecking you and it's fucking doing its thing, and it's just you have to experience it for the first time on the original game on console, because there's in 3 Ultimate, I played it when it was on the original Wii, and then I bought it again on the Wii U, which they did a fantastic job making it better for the Wii U. And
much better.
It's just not the same.
No. Well, they brought the Yan Kut-Ku back for 4.
See, that kind of aggravates me.
It still wasn't the same. I mean, it was like literally the same.
Well, what was the one that they replaced it with in 3 Ultimate? The green, it was like a green and yellow one.
Oh.
I can't remember its name, but it had like sonic attacks. I mean,
the Kurapeko.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that thing. That thing was an asshole. I hated that thing.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it's not the same.
No.
I mean, I don't understand why they didn't just, when they came up with the original, or in every iteration of Monster Hunter thus far, they've had a pretty good roster of monsters.
Yeah.
Why would you not bring the major monsters? Why would you not bring those into the next game?
I'm glad they at least included Rathian.
Right.
I love fighting Rathian.
Oh yeah.
It's Rathalos, but it's not flying around like a goddamn asshole.
And you have the poison that you have to worry about, and the attack base is a little bit different. So, it's not just a reskin. There's you have to change your strategy up a little bit, and it can be, I think, at times Rathian can be more difficult than Rathalos.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience,
it can be. I mean, she has more health, loads more health.
Mm-hmm.
But she's in a sense easier because she's based on the ground.
Right.
But back to Kut-Ku. So total asshole from the start, but then it becomes just the farm monster.
Oh yeah.
I always use that monster as like, oh shit, I got this badass new weapon. Wonder how fast I can kill Kut-Ku with it.
Well, and it was a good way to make zenny or money.
Yeah.
Real quick, it was like I think $9.50 or $12.50 credits or fake money you get from it. It was something that's quick. You don't have to spend very much getting geared up to go do it. You just go do it.
Yeah.
So, and I that was actually one of the armor sets that I liked. I
always loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pink, but
it still looks badass.
Good, yeah.
Later on in Monster Hunter Freedom for PSP, they introduced the Yan Garuga. Did you ever look at that thing?
No.
It is. I'm gonna pull that up.
Yeah, pull that
real
up
quick. Yeah, it's basically an older. Oh wow, I just type in Yan and immediately it's the first thing. It's an older, what it looks like, and it's theorized that it's a, oh wow, that's a terrible image. I need bigger images, but if you can look at this from afar, it's a cut coup, but it's like way older.
It's a veteran. It's like weathered.
Yeah, clearly this thing's been around for a ton, and it was a fucking asshole too. Yeah, super fast. Basically, it was a mixture between fighting. It was like fighting cut coup and Rathian.
Cool.
It had the fireballs, it had the spin attack, it had the somersault, and it had like its roar, like it disoriented you.
Yeah, the sonic attack.
Yeah, and it on top of that, its scales everywhere, but its like beak was like impenetrable. And that's when they introduced like blue and white sharpness.
Right.
And so you would basically have to have a blue sharpness just to cut through it.
Yeah, see, that's aggravating that I never got to experience that, because that's really cool.
It was a challenge. It was quite the challenge to fight this thing. And it was fun. At first I was like, "Oh my god." I always did the "oh my god," just running around just trying my best to not die. By the way, any move it does can poison you.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
It's like if you got hit, you're fucked. You're just fucked.
Right. Now, for the people that haven't played Monster Hunter, you've heard Blaine and I say that it's just fun. Monster Hunter is one of those things, whether you pick up the original today or you jump into World when it comes out, it is fun. Whether you play it with yourself or multiple people, you don't have to do anything. You do what you want.
Yeah, basically.
And that's, with all the open world games out now, you can kind of do that with everything. But Monster Hunter is and always has been its own thing. And that is one of the, jumping back into World here, that's one of the things that I'm kind of weary about, because they're making this, they have to make it accessible for people that are new to the franchise.
Yeah.
Back on AAA consoles, there's people like us that have played from the beginning that are, the disc could be made out of wood and, catch on fire the first time we played it. We would probably buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Just to look at the box. But they're going to have to make it accessible, and I think that's what they've done with the Scout Flies.
Yes.
The only thing, and I think I've told you this before, the only thing I'm worried about the Scout Flies is that it makes it so accessible that you don't have to try to find the monsters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because especially in the original, they didn't always spawn in the same zone.
No.
Like, 3 Ultimate, they're pretty much always in the same zone.
Yeah,
for the most part.
They're pretty predictable. In the first one, it would depend on the quest.
Yeah.
Like if you did, say, Attack of the Rathalos or whatever, I think it was Attack of the Rathalos. It always spawned in Area 3.
Right. Well, remember the egg fetching quest?
Yeah.
Where you had to climb up the mountain and get the egg and then jump down, and you always fell and broke the fucking egg and had to go back up and get another one.
Well, you probably know too. It's not even a fun fact, but like as soon as you pick up the first egg, all the spawns and all the areas change to different things. So as soon as you pick up that egg, suddenly Area 3 has Velociprey.
Yep.
And so you got to go clear it out.
Yeah, I remember that, because when you went through it the first time, there was nothing there. It was just all open. Mm-hmm. And then there was always the chance of the Rathalos spawning when you picked up the egg.
Yep. Later on in the game, you have the Powder Stone quest. Fuck that quest, by the way.
Yep.
They ended up making that quest harder later on in the game series by the Powder Stone causing heat damage. So you actually you can't just like sit and wait. You have to fucking go.
What a bunch of bullshit.
And it was a little easier online because you could have people playing flutes and shit. But
right.
Fuck, man, they made it so hard.
Yeah, I super, super excited for World.
Oh, me too. The beta on December 9th.
That's going to be sick.
That's going to be the do or die for... I mean, I know I'm going to love the game regardless. But,
right.
And I'm kind of wondering how they're going to do it. Like, so whatever you get in the beta, are you going to be able to... Are you going to get some kind of reward in the actual game for playing the beta?
When
a lot of games do that.
When the beta thing became really popular, that's what they were doing at the start. And now, the last couple betas that I've done, there's not really any incentive to play the beta other than to get a little bit of a preview, I guess. To see the bugs that you're going to experience and whatnot. So
yeah.
But, no, I'm pumped. We're definitely going to play the hell out of the beta when it comes on December 9th. And, I'm excited to see a new roster of monsters, see some
familiar faces.
I don't want to say reskins of familiar faces, but they definitely tweaked a lot of them. They look,
Rathalos looks amazing.
The graphic changes that they've made for Monster Hunter World are something that I've wanted from the beginning. When I picked up 3 Ultimate and Monster Hunter Tri, I was like, well, this is basically still the original. it's a little bit, the clarity's a little bit better, but it's still the same.
The monsters are less predictable in terms of their movesets, but yeah, I get what I'm most looking forward to is just this living ecosystem. Everything has a place. Everything has the food chain exists, and there's this hierarchy of monsters where they'll fight each other, and you can lure them to you can lure them to those monsters.
Which is, I'm sure you have. That's something I've always wanted to do. Especially on, like, you're fighting a Rathalos, and in Area 4 there's a Velocidrome. Like, why wouldn't...
And they don't fight each other, they just fight you, which, fuck them.
Right. So, I hope... What's the one... Besides the Cuckoo, because, we want that no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
What's the one monster you want to return, let's just say, from 3 Ultimate?
From 3 Ultimate?
Because that's the last one that I played.
That's a good question. I really enjoyed Lagiacrus. Lagiacrus. I love that fight, minus underwater, which there's not going to be underwater. So.
See, I was actually one of the few people that didn't mind the underwater parts.
I didn't mind it, but it was just... I didn't super get into it. But yeah, I want to fight that. I loved fighting that on land. It was a lot of fun.
The one monster that I really can't stand? Diablos.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I've never really enjoyed that fight. I don't like the way the monster looks. I don't like the way that the armor sets look.
Really? So you don't like Monoblos either? Monoblos?
I like Monoblos better than I do Diablos.
Yeah. See, I hate Gypceros.
Yeah, that's not a fun one either.
It's a Kutku that poisons you.
Right.
But it's not a Yen Garuga. But Gravios was always fun. Basarios and Gravios, those are always fun. But yeah, Lagiacrus, love that fight. If I could have that again, definitely.
Well, they did such a good job. There's always an Elder Dragon in every game, which is the big, big bad. But in 3 Ultimate, they did such a good job of, this is what's threatening the village.
Yeah.
This is what you need to take out. And you actually feel, as you play through the quest and through the game, that you're building up to that point, and then you get there, and you finally beat that monster, and it's like, whoo, I did it. I'm kind of done. And then, then all this other shit opens up, and it's like starting the game over again.
Yeah, but harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved fighting that thing. Back in the day, I finally got to, do you know what Fatalis is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, when I finally got to fight him. And then I discovered, okay, so basically Fatalis, he's end game for Monster Hunter 1.
Yep.
And he is, everything he does, every attack, if he touches you, you die.
Yep, one hit
kill.
No matter what.
Except. A lot of people, most people gunned for Fatalis. And they used guns that could do Clus level 2. And because the thing about bombs is they do direct damage. Always.
Yep.
500 points, no matter the defense and resistance, is 500 points of damage per bomb. Clutch has like 3 or 4 bombs, so it's like you're just fucking destroying them. So you'd buy Wyvern Claws and the other thing for it was Wyvern Claws and Small Bone Husk to combine to make cluster. So people would just fucking stock up on that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And just go Fatalis, fucking farm the shit out of it, get all his gear. So I discovered a skill set. If you combine specific pieces of Rathalos and Rathian gunner armor, on top of the fire resistance that you get from those pieces of armor, it gives you plus 50.
Didn't realize that.
I was the asshole that had that. And people, there were a select few people that would do it too. But of course, me being me, I would go around. I would take some noobs on their first Fatalis quest, or go farm it for myself anyways, and go with a group of people. And he'd be reared up to shoot a fireball at me, and these fireballs were nasty. Like, obviously everything one shot, So I'd be like, hey guys, check this out. Fucking take the hit. I'd be
just
like,
stand there like Gandalf on the bridge in front of the Balrog. You shall not pass.
Flee, you fools. Yeah, I'd be like, hey guys, and they'd be like, oh my god, you're gonna fucking, god damn it, like this fucking guy, he's an asshole, he's gonna make us lose.
Yep.
And so I would take the hit, and I would survive.
You're that guy.
I mean, okay, the way you did it, you'd have to eat before the quest, so you get all your stat buffs, and so you'd have to do the royal cheese, fucking whatever wine, and it gives you plus 50 health and stamina.
Yep.
So you'd have a full bar of health, full bar of stamina, and you take this fireball with this skill set, and it would drop you to the point of near death.
Right.
A Vespoid could come up behind you and sting you in the ass.
I'm gonna get you.
I fucking hated those things. But, so, and they'd be like, oh my god, fucking action replay. Once again,
right.
Getting accused of cheating. I'm like, no guys, this is legit. How the fuck did you do that? It's Fatalis. Oh my god.
Let me show you the ways.
Yeah. And it was especially great with like the super like skilled people that have been doing this for years, and they'd be like, how the fuck did you do this? You're clearly cheating. Game Shark. Fake
like, news.
No guys. And then I'd get reported and nothing would happen.
Right. Little boy.
Yeah. Good times though. I always loved the Lao Shan Lung fight too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I wish they would bring that back in the new games instead of these. I mean, I like these new colossal monsters that they have, but I want the Lao Shan Lung fight, or more of a Lao Shan Lung fight. But we're getting a little towards the end here. We've been going about 2 hours now.
It's almost bedtime for us.
Yeah, well, for you tonight. I don't go back to work until Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
So, but yeah, is there anything you'd like to add before we head out?
I appreciate you letting me be on the podcast.
Oh, of course. I've been wanting you on this for a while now.
I also want to let everybody know I haven't had my pants on for the entire 2 hours.
It's true. Completely pantless. I, however, have pants on because I am not a savage.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, for you. Brandon himself, he's like, dude, you got to get Tyler on there. And
I appreciate that.
I'm like, dude, I want Tyler on there bad. I want Tyler bad.
We bad.
But well, if that's all we got, I would like to thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
For those listening, if you are not already, please go subscribe to the Journey into Comics network via whether it be Podbean, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Google Play. You get all kinds of podcasts. You get my podcast. You get Journey into Comics, Journey into Wrestling. You get butt stuff. You get foodies watching movies. You get the Poor Report. You get Brews with Dudes. There is a podcast for everyone. If you like beer, Brews with Dudes. If you like just random shit and weed, butt stuff. If you like video games, well, go subscribe to Game Addicts because they're on a separate thing, but they're still part of our family, you know. But and then there's always the Patreon. If you want to support us and see us succeed and go further than where we are now, please throw $1 or $3 to the Patreon. You get early access. You get bonus content every month. Yeah, let's just do it, please. But if that is all, I would like to remind everybody, just please, make every day a big dick day.
Woke up this morning with my dick in my hand. Girlie's to the right of me, just like our plan. It's gonna be a big dick day. 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 Big dick day. It's gonna be a